I apologize for that. I got kicked off. Is anybody still there? Man, I gotta check this. I apologize, guys. I got kicked off. I don't know what happened. And I am not check this while I go live. Yes, I can. I can check it this way. All right. So let me see if anybody gets back in. I apologize. Gotta come straight to the channel to be able to get back in. I gotta see if anyone's able to get back in. The heck was that? All right. So we got somebody in. Who's in? I mean, put a one in the chat if you can hear me. I don't know what happened. I got kicked off, but that's all right. We're going to continue. If you can hear me, please put a one in the chat. Please put a one in the chat. I would greatly appreciate it. Sorry about that, but we got kicked off. If you can hear me, please put a one in the chat. If you can't put a one in the chat, hit the subscribe button, and it'll allow you to be able to put a one in the chat. I greatly appreciate it. Again, we are on this 10 reasons God allows health to worsen as we age article. Man, and we were in the middle of a good hot part. It was good. I'm praying that you're able to chat. If you can please put a one in the chat. I greatly appreciate it. See if anybody else is able to get back in. If not, I'm gonna start back up in a minute. I will start back up in a minute. Just trying to see who's in. Put a one in the chat if you're able to get back in. I can't put anything in the chat. I can see you from my TV, but not my computer. Okay, cool. Okay, but you just have to go to my web. You have to go to the YouTube station. Health, right? For you health class is how you have to get there now, right? So yeah, I had to restart it. I don't know what happened either. I have no idea why that happened. That just everything just shut down on me. Like that was crazy. Am I clear though? Am I clear? You could text me through the phone if you need to. Am I clear? Am I clear? All right, welcome. I do apologize. We got cut off in our last one, so we're in the middle of this one. So I'm going to continue from here, and then I guess I'm going to put it all back together. I don't know what is going on with this piece, but it is acting all the way up. I want to get you off of here. Let me reload this real quick just so we can get out of it. And we'll start back in 1 second. I do apologize for the delay. This is going to be a crazy two-parter. But whenever you promote truth, I promise you, it shows up. But don't worry about it. We keep going. So aging is a natural part of life, but it can come with challenges that test both your physical bodies and spirits. We already dealt with that. Let's continue. We know that's not true, right? So now, 2 Corinthians says, my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness. And we know that's a lie, right? We know that's the way that they're bringing it is definitely not true. The only reason that he's saying that is because it is making his power perfect because he's learning prayerfully from his foolishness that he did before, right? So where we left off is I was showing you that foolishness is sin. So the thought of foolishness itself, just the thought of it, forget doing it, the thought of foolishness is sin. Okay? So no, we don't want to be doing foolishness. We don't want to be in that space. And that's what they're saying. They're saying that this is a positive thing. No, it's not. It's only positive to get you up out of it. So now you can do right and learn through wisdom and understanding versus learning through pain. Now, when we recognize dependence on God, we grow closer to him, leaning on his strength rather than our own. In this sense, that would be closer to a true statement. But it's really, you're relying on your own. That's what he told Job, stand like a man, even when he was going through his sickness. And I'm going to do a whole thing in the creation series on Job. Because you need to really understand what Job is saying. Okay? It's super important. Super important. All right, cool. Now, next thing, to shift our focus on eternal things. Now, listen to this trick. To shift our focus to eternal things. To shift our focus to eternal things. That is crazy in itself. To shift our focus to eternal things. How is death and declining in health going to shift your focus to eternal things? Watch this. Declining health can shift our perspective, reminding us that life is temporary. Who told you that? Where did you get that from? Right? Again, Paul. Therefore, we do not lose heart. They didn't get that from the Creator. They didn't get that from Yahweh. They did not get that from the divine universal whole. And I'm going to show you in a minute. Like I said, I'm going to prove everything I'm saying. I'm not just talking. It says, therefore, we do not lose heart. Hold on 1 second. I don't know why it keeps doing that. It keeps throwing these ads up. That's probably the problem with this. Get rid of that. Hold 1 second for me. Prayerfully, we can get through this without all these ads popping up. I'm probably just going to have to make it smaller. All right, yeah, that's what it is. That's why it's popping up like that. I just got to make it small. I'm going to read it. Y'all just going to have to listen to it. It says, therefore we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. And this is the trick, right? That you're dying, but you're only outwardly wasting away because you're not doing right. And I'm going to show you, even Paul is going to tell you that. Therefore, we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. Yeah. So he's promoting what? Death. They're promoting death. But the Creator don't promote death. I'm going to show you that. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but what is unseen. No, you better. And this is why the quote unquote devil or the anti-life force, this is why the earth is the way it is today. Because so many people are trying to die and go to heaven that they are no earthly good. They stop focusing on where heaven really exists, which is on earth, or hell really exists, which is on earth. See, they can't exist at the same. Heaven and hell do not exist at the same time. They don't exist at the same time. They exist at two separate times. Heaven exists at one time, hell exists at a different time. Right now, it's hell on earth. How do we know? Murders, rape, killing. The ozone is bad. You got fires in LA burning up the entire countryside. Right? You got everything going on. Right? You got the air is polluted. The water is polluted. You got to buy bottled water. Do you understand that? I want you to understand. Do you understand that? Right? That is very important. But if we create heaven on earth, which is what we're supposed to be doing, then we heal the air, we heal the water, we heal the earth, we heal all those things. As our bodies age, we're reminded to focus on what truly matters: our relationship with the whole. That is true, but not as your bodies age, as either you become wiser or more understanding, or you go through so much because you were so disobedient that now you are broken down to where you were reminded. That's why I said the title is the truth. Your body will be allowed to be broken down, but you did it, not God did it. And that's what they're trying to say. To teach us patience. Right? Not disobedience. No, it's not disobedience. No. Aging often comes with physical challenges that require patience and endurance. Right? James 1:2-4 tells us, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Right? These are lowered expectation conversations. You don't believe you can have perfect health, perfect households, perfect relationships. You were taught not to believe that. Therefore, you can't. Because until you can believe it, anything you can believe, you can what? Believe, you can achieve. You can conceive and believe, you can achieve. If you can do those three things, you can achieve it, right? 200 years ago, if we talked about a cell phone, that would be imagination. But it was conceived and believed, therefore it was created. The car was conceived and believed, therefore it was created. You're flying in a metal a piece of metal weighing tons through the air. Why? Because it was conceived, believed, therefore it was achieved. If that can be accomplished, you don't think you can have something as simple as a perfect relationships? You don't think you can have something as simple as perfect households? You don't believe you can have something as perfect as happiness and joy all the time? Those are easy compared to trying to put tons of flying in the air. That's easy compared to trying to develop a cell phone. Right? That's easy. But we were taught against it. Let perseverance, finish this work so you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. And this is how we started. This type of conversation is how we started to justify hell on earth. And through that justification of hell on earth, therefore death was overtook. Through the difficulties of declining health, God shapes our character, teaching us to trust his timing and rely on his strength. No, that's through wisdom and understanding. To deepen our compassion for others. Experiencing health challenges can make more empathetic to the struggles of others, which is true. It can. But so if you're prideful and arrogant and you're not, and I don't say empathetic, you need to be compassionate. When I do the class on empathy, you'll understand why I say that in the creation series. When I do the class on empathy, experiencing health challenges can make us more empathetic to the struggles of others. 2 Corinthians 1:3-4 says, praise be to Elohim, or God, right? It says God. It says Theos, actually. It don't even say Elohim. It says Theos. So praise be to God and Father of our Lord Christ, the Father of compassion and the God of all comfort, who comforts us in all troubles so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God. In other words, teaching you empathy. That's really empathy, right? Is what they're saying. When we face our own physical limitations, we gain a deeper understanding of the pain and difficulties others endure. I would say this right here would be the most truest statement that we've read so far. And the title, actually, believe it or not. The title and this are the truest statements we've read so far. This compassion equips us to comfort and encourages those around us, fulfilling God's commandment to love one another, right? It's not fulfilling God's commandment. That's not true. That's not true at all. To keep us humble, I'll agree with that. Aging and health issues that accompany it remind us that we are mortal and finite. A pure lie. This is a pure lie right here. This is a very important point right here, right? Why? Why is that important? Because this is the trick. This is why I teach. Hold on one second. If it's going to allow me to do this again. Hold on one second. I want to make this big. This is something you got to see. So give me 1 second. I gotta adjust the screen on this one. I gotta do it. All right. It says aging and health issues that accompany remind us that we are what? Mortal and finite. No, you're not. And this is an extremely important point. This is why I teach you are Elohim. Psalms 82. Just for those of you people that are not aware that they are just joining. This is to get you to understand that concept. Okay? You are Elohim. You got what I'm saying? This is key. Okay? You are not mortal and finite. Finite. That is not true. But we were taught this. These are the lies and deceits that you are taught. If you were made in the image and likeness of Yah, image and likeness, then it's impossible for you to be mortal. It's impossible for you to be finite. That would be impossible. You got that? Now this scripture right here is an excellent scripture. Not for this point, but it's an excellent scripture. Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. So if you're getting sick, for instance, when I had my heart attack, I told you the spirit or the voice was telling me what? Go raw for 3 years. I was supposed to go raw 3 years in a row. It told me that. Did I listen? No, I didn't. What did I have? A heart attack. Right? Why? because I didn't listen. That's pridefulness and haughtiness. But would I have had a heart attack had I listened? No. Did my heart attack have anything to do with aging? Absolutely not. It had to do with disobedience, not hearing. Not hearing. Hearing, remember, means to listen and do, not just listen. So when you heard, then you wouldn't have this problem. So because I couldn't hear, my pride and haughty spirit fell. That's why. When we're young and strong, it's easy to take pride in our abilities and accomplishments. But as we age and our health declines, we're reminded that all we have comes from God, or the whole, really, is what that should be. This humility helps us rely more fully on Yah, or him and her, and keeps us grounded in the truth of our dependence on his grace. Right? Dependence on his grace. Right? Because they want to keep you they want to really lock you into a religious conversation. This is more important, because as long as you're depending on God, right, now you'll be quicker to go to church, pay tithes, and they can make money off of you. Don't never forget that. Now, 6, to encourage deeper prayer and fellowship with God. Health challenges often drive us to our knees in prayer. Psalms 34, 17 and 18 assures us, the righteous cry out, and Yahweh hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. Correct. So if that's the case, and if I'm righteous and I cry out, then am I going to be sick? No. Am I going to have disease? No. I'm not. Why? Because as I stated before, Yah's not going to bless you and make you sick. Yah's not going to bless you and make you die. That's not going to happen. It's not. I'm sorry, I have to be honest and truthful. If you want me to lie to you, call me later and get off of this, because I'm telling the truth right now. Okay, call me later and just say, please lie to me. Then we might have a different conversation. But on this right now, I'm telling you the 150% truth. The righteous cry out, and Yahweh hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. Yahweh is close, or God, they'll say the Lord. I'm reading from the scriptures at first. But now they're saying the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. No, that's still the scripture. Yahweh is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. These words are mistranslated. He is close to the clean. That's like the clean hearted is what it means. To them that have a pure spirit. When it says broken or crushed spirit, it's talking about a pure spirit. A spirit that can hear and is not haughty or lifted up. That's what it means. It don't mean broken down and hurt. It's not saying that. Not to the brokenhearted, like you think in English, his heart is broken, he's down and sad, and then no. Not that being. That's not what it's talking about. It means that his heart is not lifted up. It ain't haughty. It's not arrogant. It's not prideful. That's what this is saying here. When we face declining health, we're prompted to seek Elohim, or God, more earnestly. That can be true if you start getting wisdom and understanding. But if you're wise and understanding, you seek Yah every day. The righteous seek Yah B times, as the scripture says. The righteous seek Yah B times, meaning all the time. This deepened prayer life strengthens our relationship with Yahweh and reminds us of his faithfulness and care. In our physical struggles, we find spiritual renewal through communion with our Creator. That is good. So you should find it without needing the physical struggles. It's just like if your parents have to whoop you for you to be able to do right, then did you really do right? No. Are you really doing right? No. Not until you want to do right because you just want to do it are you literally doing right. That's where you have to develop to. You have to develop to the point where you're doing right just because you want to do right. Not for any benefit you get out of it, nothing. But because you actually want to do right. That's when your heart is right. That's when your heart is right. As our health declines, it opens opportunities for others to serve us. Now, here comes the ego. That's pure ego right there. To allow others to serve and show love. This is ego. This is ego. I'll answer your question in a little bit, Senart. As our health declines, but good. I'm put your questions in early. That's good. As our health declines, it opens opportunities for others to serve us, demonstrating Christ-like love and compassion. No, they're demonstrating it. You're not. And what this is called is abuse. I want you to be get very good understanding on what I'm going to share with you right now. Because this is how parents abuse children. This is how the church abuses the people. This is how the government abuses the people. This is how business owners abuse people. And this is how narcissists abuse people. This is very abusive. And let me explain to you what I mean. So now they're going to take their health situation and try to make others feel guilty with it. To try to get them to serve them. Don't ever fall for that. There's nothing wrong with helping someone that truly needs it. But a person that truly needs is only going to need it for a season. But a lot of people use their health issues to try to get others to serve them. Right? That's their ego, not the health issue. It just looks good. Oh, I'm sick, so therefore you need to come do this. So I'm not well. Da. Don't listen to none of that. I don't listen to none of that. I'm like, okay. Ain't nothing wrong with helping somebody that needs it. But somebody like that, I will never help them. I'm going to be straight with you. I don't play them games. And that is called, that's the true definition of holding a grudge, believe it or not. They're holding it over that person's head. That's holding a grudge. I'm telling you, and that is very dangerous. So don't allow anyone first of all, if you're doing it, stop immediately. That's very dangerous. And number two, if someone else is doing it and you're falling for it, stop falling for it immediately. You do not deserve to be abused like that. That is not use. That's abuse. It's okay for someone to use you, but it is not okay for someone to abuse you. Ever. It is never okay for someone to abuse you. Be very clear on that. That's extremely important to get. Because I watch people get abused all day long. And the sad part about it is the person that's being abused is the one that feels guilty. And the one that's abusing doesn't care about nobody anyway. They don't care about nobody but theyself. And many people, their goal is to see Their goal is to see if they can or cannot abuse you and how much abuse towards you they can get away with. That is what they're doing. So you have to be very cognizant when you're dealing with people. What are they trying to do? Because many people, most people, are always trying to see how far they can abuse you. That's what they're doing. But if you're real, once you clear yourself, once you become 100% you, you will never do that. You won't be in that space. You're never trying to abuse anyone because you know that abuse is going to come back on you this time, this lifetime, or the next. Everything you do grows up in your garden. Everything you do grows up in your garden. It says, as our health declines, it opens opportunities for others to serve us, just demonstrating a Christ-like love or a messianic type love is really what that should be saying. Galatians 2 instructs, carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. No, you don't. He ain't never tell you to do nothing that foolish. Even the Christ of the New Testament never said carry somebody else's burdens. Don't you ever carry somebody else's burdens. Don't ever, ever in your life carry somebody else's burdens. That's the worst thing you can do. And that's when I do empathy, sympathy, and compassion, you're going to understand exactly what I'm talking about. Don't ever carry somebody else's burdens. That's all a trick. All that is game. By accepting help from others, we allow them to live out their faith and reflect God's love. That can be true if it's true help. You might need their help one time or two times. But if you keep doing the same dumb stuff and you keep needing their help over and over again, no, that's abuse. That is abuse. That's a person that wants to die. I'm gonna tell you, see, I'm straight. I ain't gonna play. I let people like that die. If they come and need something for real, if they serious, hey, we on. But the people like that, I don't play with them because I know their game and I know what they're doing, and I'm not gonna do it. This mutual support strengthens the body of Christ. In other words, they're saying the whole, the messianic personages on the planet is what they're saying. So when they're saying that, they're saying it strengthens the whole. And in righteousness, it actually does strengthen the whole, reminding us that we're all part of a greater community designed to care for one another. That is true. But when you're using it as a hustle, it's a lie. People will use these statements to get you to feel guilty for not doing what they want you to do. I will not, that don't fall for that. Don't ever fall for that. That's the game. To prepare us for eternity. Physical decline reminds us that this world is not our final home, which it is in reality. Or you're going to end up on another. You might end up on another planet. I can't prove if you're going to end up on another planet or something. But more than likely, you're coming back here. Physical decline reminds us this world is not our final home. It is, though. That's why we have to turn it into heaven. That is the whole point. That is what heaven on earth, why we have to create heaven on earth. That's why we have to do right. So when you come back, your house, the house is clean. Now what? Elohim can enter, right? And the spirit can enter, and now you're full. So that's why the body is the temple. Start with you. Clean your temple. Clearing meditation. The body meditation. The healing, the physical health, right? Get it in effect. Get it at its top level, because you can't do nothing until you are healed. Just like they say on the airplane, put your mask on first before you can help somebody else. Once you put your mask on, then you can help others. This is important. All right. Now let's continue. Aging and declining health point us toward the promise of glorified body in heaven. Exactly. Which is going to be here, because once you can get your body cleansed, now you're going to have the right ideas and thoughts. Now your environment is going to be cleansed. Now you're going to be sharing that with others, and more people are going to start doing the same thing. Now you have a glorified body in heaven. This is how heaven is created. This hope gives us peace and joy even in the midst of physical struggles. What they're saying is, when the fact that you can die and go somewhere else and go destroy it gives you peace and joy. So if I'm sick and my mind is destroyed and I got mental illness when I die and my spirit is sick, then what's going to happen is when I go to heaven, now I can go wreck and ruin that place just like I wreck and ruin this place. That's what gives them happiness and joy. Please get real. You think you're just gonna be sick and and undeveloped, and then you're gonna just go fly off somewhere, go mess that place up, and you're gonna get to just go through the pearly gates of heaven just because you died? Come on, get real. People just be talking. I'm telling you. I mean, really think about it. Really, I want you to really think about this. These are the lies, and I like the fact that they got 10 of them, because these are the things we learned and the lies we received, right? To get here. I mean, to get to these lies. These are lies. When family members witness our health challenges, it can be an opportunity for them to grow in their faith, right? When family members witness our health challenges, it can be an opportunity for them to grow in their faith. No, it doesn't. Now, this is a complete lie. Now, watch this. So, you're telling me that when you're sick or down, you think that they're thinking, oh, God is with them? Do you believe that? If somebody believes that when you are sick, you believe that your family members and people think that God is with you, please put a yes in the chat if you believe that, or put no if you don't. Please. And if you can't chat, it's because you're not subscribed. Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the subscribe button. I want you to really believe. Do you believe that? If you do, please put yes or no in the chat. I'm gonna give y'all a couple seconds to do it, because you need to answer that question. That is just crazy. I mean, this stuff is literally insane. But we believed it, and it sounds so good. If I could go to a funeral eulogy. I could do a eulogy with this, and everybody be like, "You just did an outstanding job. That was excellent." I mean, you just really, really sent them. You sent them home beautifully. And all I did was sat there and lied to you the whole time. Is all I would have done if I would have read this. I would have said so many lies, complete, utter foolishness. I would have spewed, and people would have praised me like I was really speaking in God. But if I told the truth, they'd be sick to their stomach. But it's the truth, though. Prayerfully, they would get something out of it. To draw our loved ones closer to Elohim, or God, which is, again, do you believe that? Do you believe that? Because this is that's a serious question. Put no in the chat. If not, if you cannot speak, I said again, subscribe. Now, when family members witness our health challenges, it may be an opportunity for them to grow in their faith. Psalm 71:18 says, even when I'm old and gray, do not forsake me, my Elohim, till I declare your power to the next generation, your mighty acts to all who are to come. How we handle aging and declining health can be a powerful testimony to those around us. By trusting God and maintaining hope, we inspire others to seek Him and rely on His promises. Yeah, when you're healthy, So the fact that you could be 90 years old and run a marathon, yeah, now you're glorifying Yah. Now people gonna come to you and ask you, how did you do that? And when you say it's because I'm one with Elohim, right? Or I am Elohim, when you understand that. When you say that, now they're gonna be trusting in Elohim. They're gonna trust in God when they see you do exploits, as it says in Daniel. That's when they're gonna come to you trusting in God. Then your sickness is gonna make them not believe in God. Man, they've been talking about God all these years. They've been going to church every day. They've been doing this and that, and they sick and dying. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be nothing like that. You know who says that? The wise. The wise man who sees people at church overweight, fat, dying on a regular basis and says, I don't want to be no part of that. That's a wise man and woman. I don't care what religion you're a part of. The glory of Yah or God is when you actually are walking in the light. You are the miracle. You are the light. You are all of that. When you become the miracle, that's when you're going to draw your loved ones. So stop talking to them and be it. That's why I told you it's not about having faith. It's about being faith. That's the difference. It's about being. Who are you being? Not who are you, not what do you know. That don't matter. What you know means absolutely nothing. You can know everything. It don't mean nothing. What matters is who are you being. That's all that matters. How we handle aging and declining health can be a powerful testimony. I'm sorry, I got to make it small again because it's acting up. So hold 1 second. How we handle aging and declining health can be powerful testimony to those around us. By trusting God and maintaining hope, we inspire others to seek Him and rely on His promises. Yes, when you become the miracle. When you are in perfect health, when your mind and you've lost your mental illness and now you've removed your mental illness and now you're thinking clearly and have wisdom and understanding, now that's when that's going to happen. To demonstrate His strength is our weakness in our weaknesses. My goodness, they just go all the way there, boy. Finally, Elohim or God, they're using God, and I'm sticking with that because that ain't Elohim. Finally, God allows our health to worsen as we age to show His strength in our weakness. That's ridiculous. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, I can't even finish the sentences without laughing. How crazy this stuff is. And we believed. I mean, we were 100% gung ho. I was behind this type of foolishness. His strength and our weakness. But we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-suppressing power is from Elohim and not from us. Now, I like the way that that's put, though, right? In jars of clay. Why? Because we are made from the dust of the earth, which will be clay, right? And we are the treasure. The spirit in us is the treasure inside of the physical body, which is also an amazing treasure. The body itself is an amazing treasure, which took billions, if not trillions of years for it to be developed to the point that you're in it today. Right? That's back when I was talking about the mitochondria. So if you haven't seen that video, go watch the mitochondria series. Okay? Very important series. Then when you understand that, right now, then we looking at, so that is a true statement. Our frailty, and he didn't say frailty here. See, there was nothing that said frailty right here. Nothing. No, that didn't allude to frailty at all. But that's what they're saying. Our frailty highlights God's power and faithfulness. No, it doesn't. It does not. It is the opposite way around. If you when I went to Ghana, North Ghana, I met an elder that was, I believe, 100 and he had, I think it was like he was 100 and something, 100 and something. I can't remember. This man looked like he was about he was around 60 something years old. He looked like he was around 60 something years young, rather. Eyesight perfect. Mobility perfect. No stumbling, no canes. No, I mean, I'm talking about he looked like 60, like for real, built. I mean, not built, but I guess you would say in shape. Not, he wasn't muscular. But he was cut up. But he was small, thinner than, he wasn't muscular. He was like you see the African warriors. He looked like that. That's exactly what he looked like. 100 and something years old, walking around on his own. I mean, walking, not hobbling, not none of that. I'm talking about walking like a regular man. He could walk and do everything. Speak, converse, everything. Perfect eyesight, all of it. I'm letting you know, like this, that's what I want. I'm around. That's what I want to be a part of. I don't know what you want to be a part of, but that's glorifying Yah to me. I told him, I said on him, I said, I want to learn everything that you do. That's exactly what I told him. I said, can I please speak to the chief? He's a chief, right? I said, can I please speak to the chief? They said, yeah. I said, sir, I humbly am requesting to be able to sit under you and learn everything that you do. I want to know exactly how you got to be the way that you are at the age that you are, sir. And he said, absolutely. And they invited me in. So I'm letting you know, like, that is what that's glorifying Yah. You talking about your frailty does not. It totally disrespects, as a matter of fact. You've already disrespected all the beings in your body, which is Yah. But then on top of it, now you disrespecting the entire glory of Yah. Why? Because you were hard-headed, disobedient. You only become frail because you were disobedient. When we persevere through health challenges, with faith and hope, we reflect his glory to the world. No, you reflect your glory by being faith and being hope. That's how you reflect your faith. Right? That's how you do it. It's a reminder that our worth and value are not dependent on our physical abilities. Yeah, it is. Get out of that. It ain't physical. Yes, it is. It's physical, spiritual, and mental. It's all three. Yes, it is. But on our identity as children of Elohim, yeah, because your identity as a child of Elohim or God is going to show up in your physical abilities, in your mental clarity, and in your spiritual being. What does it say? It says, you could tell the fruit by what? You could tell a tree by the fruit it bears. Right? So if you're frail and you're broke down, it's because of the tree. What you've done. You're gonna always be able to tell. This is not rocket science. This is not rocket science. This is simple concept. This is simple concepts. Super simple. It ain't rocket science, right? It ain't deep and profound and da da da. It ain't none of that. Get out of that mysticism. This is real. It ain't the storybook version. This is real. Right? Now, Let's see what Yah said for real. We just got through with what the anti-life force was talking about, death. We already dealt with that. Now let's deal with the truth. That stuff, boy, it's like a comic book, right? That was crazy. Now, let's go. Genesis. So, the first thing we have to realize is when we were created, was there death? No, there was no death. How do we know? Let's go to Genesis 1:31. What does it say? And Elohim saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. It didn't say it was good and evil, did it? Does anybody see good and evil right there? No. It says it was very good. This is very important. Not until we ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil do we see what? It was good and evil. But it was very good. It was good only. So let's look at this real quick. Deuteronomy 30. What does it say? Watch this. We're going to go Deuteronomy 30, and we're going to go to the 15th verse. Now look at this. What does it say? See, I have set before you this day life and good, and death and evil. So let's stop. If before eating from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, there was no evil, there was only very good, then there could have only been life, wasn't it? It could have only been. Could have only been life. Therefore, there's nothing good about death. Death is evil. Life is diametrically opposed to death, and good is diametrically composed to bad, which Ra just means bad. Evil, whenever you see it, it just means bad. So there's nothing good about death. That's why death is not a natural part or any part of life. They have nothing to do with each other. Life is life and death is death. They're not opposites. They're just two different things. Death is death and life is life. Choose what? Watch this. See, I've set before you this day life and good and death and evil. And that I command you this day to love Yahuwah thy Elohim, which is the whole. That means you to love everything on the planet, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that you may as live, not live and die, right? It said that you may as live and die, right? And then go to heaven. No, that you may as live. That's all you're going to ever see is live when it comes to doing right. I'm going to show you. Live and multiply, and Yahuwah thy Elohim shall bless thee in the land whither you goest to possess it. Right? Now let's continue. We'll go down here. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, do what? Choose life. Always choose life. This is the key. That's why you always hear me tell you, if somebody is on life support, do not take them off. This is why I say there's a time and place for all modalities of healing. Choose life always. That is the right answer. Life is always the right answer. That's why I said war is the most dumbest thing on the planet. You have to be a complete idiot. Because you're to always choose life. That's the entire battle. See, it doesn't matter. If I got two people going to war with each other, let's say this one's wicked and this one's righteous. It don't matter. Let's say this one's wicked and this one's wicked. It doesn't matter. Anytime one person dies, that's a win for the anti-life or what is known as satanic forces. Period. Period. That's it. It doesn't matter as long as somebody's dying. That's the loss. There is no right argument for killing someone. Period. Now, that was perfect. Now, let's move forward. Let's see what else Yahweh has to say about life. Now, we're talking about in the when heaven is on earth, right? This is what we're talking about right now. When heaven is on earth, it says what? 65. We're going to start. Here we go. The new heavens and the new earth. For behold, I create a new heavens and a new earth. This is like better sheet again, right? Like just like better sheet, no different. Just like Noah was the next bearer sheet, or Noah's time, that was the next bearer sheet. This is a bearer sheet. I create new heavens and new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. But you shall be glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy. So you know this is talking about this. You know this is talking about new heaven and new earth, or rather, when heaven is on earth, right? That's the point. It's not going to be flying off in the sky somewhere. You're talking about Jerusalem, which means it will still be here when this new heaven and earth is created. This ain't talking about some new, we're different and da 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 da. No, 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 no. This ain't flying off in space and somewhere else. No, this is here when our mind and spirit is right and we've now created a heaven on earth. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem and joy in my people, and the voice of what? Weeping shall no more be heard in her. In other words, perfect happiness, perfect relationships, perfect love. This is what you have to start doing now. You stop waiting. Ain't nothing to wait for, nor the voice of crying. There shall be no more there an infant of days, nor an old man that has not filled his days. For the child shall die 100 years old. Let me show you what I mean. That mean, or what Yah means, excuse me. What Yah is saying is that the child shall die. If somebody dies at 100 years old, they're going to be considered a child still. That's how long we're going to live. But the sinner, being 100 years old, shall be accursed, meaning sick, diseased, da da da. Right? Now watch this. I'm going to continue down. They shall not build in another inhabit. They shall not plant another eat. For as the days of a tree, how old do trees live? How old do trees live? Thousands of years. Trees live so long, they don't even know how long a tree can actually live yet. They haven't had enough time to be able to stay and watch a tree live until it lives full life and dies. That's how long a tree lives. It says, for the day as the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. This is the truth. This is the truth. Now, I already told you, I taught you, right? Yah already showed you that you are Elohim. But watch this. I'm going to show you the power you really have. And if you haven't seen that, make sure you subscribe for the to the Getting High with Daooeed tier so you can watch the creation series. It's very important. No. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Is it 32? No, that's too far in it. Oh, here we go. 32 and 40. For I lift up my hands to heaven and say, what? I live forever. Again, for I lift up mine hand to heaven and say, I live forever. Now, if you're in the image and likeness of your Yahuwah, which you were made, then yes, you live forever. Now, this is the last scripture I'm going to show you. Then I'm about to go science on you. And then we'll be done. No, this is the wrong one. Hold on. I don't want this. I want Proverbs. They must have kicked it off. Okay, let me grab it real quick. Let me get it for... Oh, I got Blue Letter up already. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. Let me pull this up. Proverbs, we want 2. No, I'm sorry. Proverbs 12. Proverbs 12 and 28. Watch this. It says what? In the way of righteousness is life, right? Yes, that's what it says. It doesn't say in the way of righteousness is death, do it. Because that would be an oxymoron. That would be what we would call pure idiocy or stupidity. In the way of righteousness is not death. In the way of righteousness is life. And in the pathway thereof, there is how much death? How much death does it say that there is? I want y'all to put it in the chat. If you cannot chat, please subscribe. It'll allow you to chat. Put in the chat, how much death does it say right there? I really want y'all to, I want to see if y'all paying attention or whatever. But in the way of righteousness is life, and in the pathway thereof, there is how much death? I know sometimes it takes a second for y'all to get it, to be able to do it. So I apologize. I know it takes a second for y'all to be able to chime in, but how much depth does it say? It's very important. While y'all being able to get to there, I guess, and type in, I'm going to move to the scientific portion. So, can you die from old age? This is science is going to tell you this. No. No. The answer is no. No. Old age is not a cause of death. Instead, it's a colloquial term used to describe the death of an older person when the cause is not clear or well understood. So you're telling me that old age cannot cause death. Is that what you're saying? But maybe you don't believe them. So let's continue. The International Classification of Diseases, ICD, removed old age as a cause of death in 2022. It was replaced with aging-associated biological decline in intrinsic capacity. Doctors are advised to avoid using old age as the sole cause of death on a medical certificate, because they be lying, is what they're saying. Instead, they should only use it when there was a general decline in the person's health and no other identifiable cause of death. As people age, they are more likely to die from disease or injury due to natural, that's a lie, natural changes in their bodies. No, it's due to what you put in it that's destroying your body over time. Some of these changes include reduced circulation, slow digestion and metabolism, worsening eyesight, confusion, urinary and bladder incontinence, and shallow breathing. That's what it comes from. What you've done to your body. Now, let's look at what they say here. Senescence. Senescence or biological aging is the gradual deterioration of functional characteristics. Excuse me, I didn't mean to do that. Of functional characteristics in living organisms. Right, natural death, which is a lie. No such thing. Whole organism senescence involves an increase in death rates or decrease in I don't even know how to pronounce that. With increasing age, at least in the latter part of an organism's life cycle. Let me bring this back up for y'all so y'all can see this. I want y'all to see this big. Let's see if it lets me do it. I gotta do it the hard way. Hold 1 second. Hold 1 second. I'm gonna make this bigger for you all. All right, because this is important. Because senescence is something we've been talking about. Remember, we have cellular senescence, and then they're talking about old age senescence, right? They call it the biological aging, right? Now watch this. Whole organism senescence involves an increase in death rates or a decrease in plasticity in increasing age, at least in the latter part of the organism's life cycle. However, the resulting effects of senescence can be delayed. In other words, you're not dying from senescence. You can delay it. How? Watch this. The 1934, they discovered this. How come they just talk about it now? How come people are just finding out? This was discovered in 1934 in this society. Discovery that calorie restriction, what does that mean? Calorie restriction can extend lifespans by 50% in rats. What is calorie restriction? You mean fasting? You mean breatharianism? You mean he who eats less lives longer? Is that what you're saying? Really? So it's not food that makes us live? We don't really? Look at that. Calorie restriction can extend lifespans by 50% in a rat. How much you think is going to extend your life? The existence of species having negligible senescence and the existence of potentially immortal organisms such as yourself, really, but they don't say that, such as members of the genus Hydra, have motivated research into delaying senescence and thus age-related diseases. Rare human mutations can cause accelerated aging disease. I want you to get that, right? Now, let me see. What's this? Old age. Let me see which one this is. I apologize. Hold on. Oh, this is old age. Did I want something out of this? Not really. I don't think there was anything in this one. Misconceptions. Yeah, no, this isn't the one I want. It says the proximate cause of death is disease or injury. From which country? This is streaming from United States. Streaming from the United States, Asma Ibrahim. So the proximate cause of death is the disease or injury that begins a chain of events that leads to death. It's the condition that started the chain of events that led to death, and without which the death would not have happened. I'm going to repeat. The proximate cause of death is the disease or injury that begins a chain of events that leads to death. Right? So when we're talking about the health, and I'm talking about how you start with a cough or a cold, then you end up with diabetes. Years later, you're going to end up with diabetes. And then the next thing is going to come is cancer to take you out totally if the diabetes doesn't take you out first, or your renal failure or whatever. What I'm saying is that this is what this is saying. In aging physically, when you start getting what we call aging, getting old and frail and all that, is due to the fact of what you put in the body. That's the problem. That is your issue. It's the condition that started the chain of events that led to death, and without which death would not have happened. Here are some examples of proximate causes of death: coronary artery disease, a gunshot wound to the chest, blunt force head trauma, and lung carcinoma. In some cases, the proximate cause of death is the same as the immediate cause of death. For example, toxic effects of cocaine. However, more often than not, there are multiple conditions that contribute to the chain of events leading to death. For example, if someone suffers a brain injury from a fall and then develops pneumonia while bedridden, the cause of death could be listed as pneumonia due to blunt force head trauma due to fall. Okay? The term proximate cause originated in civil law. I can't see because I can't. Okay, cases, and was later applied to death certifications. Death certificates. Now, cause of death. In law, medicine, the statistics, cause of death is an official determination of the conditions resulting in a human's death, which may be recorded on a death certificate. A cause of death is determined by a medical examiner. In rare cases, an autopsy needs to be performed by a pathologist. The cause of death is a specific disease or injury, in contrast to the manner of death, which is a small number of categories like natural, accident, suicide, homicide, each with different legal implications. Let me see if they do it here. Aging. Health departments discourage listing old age as a cause of death because doing so does not benefit public health and medical research. Aging is not a scientifically recognized cause of death. Hold up. Say what? What did they just say? They said what? Aging is not a scientifically recognized cause of death. It is currently, hold on, I'm going to repeat that again. Aging is not a scientifically recognized cause of death. It is currently considered that there is always a more direct cause. Although it may be unknown in certain cases and could be one of a number of aging associated diseases, right? As an indirect or non-determinative factor, biological aging is the biggest contributor to deaths worldwide. Why? Because of the limit that the people are on worldwide. That's why. They're telling you why. Right? So this is what I'm saying. That the power of this is that there is no aging that causes death. Scientifically, they prove it, as well as scripturally. Aging don't have nothing to do with death whatsoever at all. So what causes? There's always a proximal cause. And what is the proximal cause? A disease, something falling on your head or killing you like that, or something like that. But you're not going to die from old age. So if you don't have to die from old age, now you have another outlook on life. The question is, how do I live forever? How do I gain physical immortality? Now you're on a whole different path and thought process when it comes to food and eating. when it comes to your mental clarity, when it comes to your spiritual being. But most people think what? I have to die from something, just like that article. That's where they're at. They're stuck there. They're stuck in that place. So now, when we come to back to Proverbs, right? The question that I ask is, in the way of righteousness is life, and in the pathway thereof there is how much death? There is no death. Zero. So I'm going to answer the questions on the floor and then we'll close out. All right, because we already got questions. If you have a question, put it in while I'm doing this. But I'm going to answer the questions on the floor. So do you have to be ill or broken to be close to God and receive God's blessings? Oh, okay. Rhetorical question. Good. No, you don't. And you saw that earlier. Absolutely not. It says, I tried to send you a picture on the page. It didn't let me, so I sent it to you in a text like a reply to it. All right, hold on. Let me see. Okay, I'll deal with that later. Okay. And then this whole article has taken scripture and reinterpreted to fit aging narrative. I trust the scriptural message, but not as it pertains. I trust the scriptural message, but not as it pertains to this subject. Explain to me, Senart, what you mean specifically when you say you trust the scriptural message, but not as it pertains to this. You mean this article? Is that what you were saying? I want to make sure. I want to make sure on that. After I witnessed a vision of my mother's departure, I received extremely strong communication from her through butterflies, which represent freedom. She had sent me up her. She had me set up her eulogy. Okay, understood to that. Sinar, there is so much to unpack here. Yes, there is on that article. That makes sense. Psalm 71 was first I woke and read out of a dream night before the corona hit. I went back to sleep into the same dream about the corona. I woke up again and read Psalm 73. It sticks to me great comfort. Okay. 71 is a good psalm for you. Good. I've witnessed a certain amount of elders in the kingdom, and one who was the first, he was overweight but very healthy and enlightened. Yes, but overweight, you're not healthy. Period. I don't care how overweight you are. That is unhealthy because you have visceral fat. You have too much visceral fat, and that fat is going to be around your organs, and that is very dangerous. This is why you have a lot of people who might be healthy or look healthy, but then they die, right? That visceral fat is a beast. And that's what I try to get rid of it. I'm trying to get totally rid of all my visceral fat. That's the negative side. The too much visceral fat, not the positive amount. Because you need visceral fat. There's a positive amount of visceral fat, and then there's too much. And most people have too much visceral fat. Yahweh into the inner man, his heart, humble thyself. Correct. And that's done through wisdom and understanding. If not, if you don't take the wisdom and understanding, which will come first, then it will be a breakdown or a problem. Not the outer. Yeah, they use natural death too. Exactly, Isola. Yes, they do. They use natural death. They will say that and use natural death. But there's no such thing as natural death. Death is unnatural. Let me be very clear. That's a good point. I'm glad you said that. Death is unnatural. There is no such thing as natural death. Remember, it didn't exist in the beginning. So everything about death is unnatural. There is nothing natural about it. Is eating once a day good? Yeah, that's a good. Excellent. That's more than likely. I think we're eating too much even when we eat once a day. I think eating once every 2 or 3 days is probably how we're supposed to eat. But once a day, you're doing outstandingly well. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying you're doing great if you eat once a day. But I think that's too much. To be honest with you, we eat way too much. I know that for a fact. I know that for a fact. The script, yeah, that's what you meant. Center, the article seemed to take scripture out of context. It did. It took it out of context, but then it also, you have to understand there's a promotion of death. So you have to understand during the New Testament time what was going on historically. So during the New Testament time, you have to understand that was the time of the fall of Israel, of the nation of Israel. And remember, vision had become, it was dissipating. It wasn't increasing, it was dissipating at that time. So there were a lot of things and messages lost in that season. Every season we were supposed to bring in Isaiah 60, Isaiah 65, 66, all of that. That was our duty on the planet. We were made to do that. We were made to bring heaven upon the earth. But we rebelled and rejected Yahweh. Therefore, we didn't bring heaven on earth. We refused to do it. So in the refusal, we were blinded. Then we were brought into captivity here. We've been in captivity several times, not just this time. But we were brought in this final captivity. That's Deuteronomy the 28th chapter. Study that. But this ain't the first. We've been in several captivities. This ain't our first time. This ain't our first rodeo at all. It's just the worst one we've ever been in. So during that season of the during the season of this captivity, but coming out of this captivity, we cannot fail this time. And it must be based around the world on them wanting to do it, not because they have to. And they will, once we get the right message and the right conversation, because life is a conversation. Yeah, and I believe that. I believe that. That's how the ancient Egyptians used to eat once every 3 days. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And probably so did most of the world. Because you didn't get, Egyptians could get food much easier because they were more like America. They had more, and Egypt was ran by many different nations. So they weren't always Mitzrayim, which is who the true Egyptian land, that's who owned that land for real, was Mitzrayim. But it was transferred to different nationalities over time. Like the Ethiopians will own it, then the Mitzrayim, then they go to war, another group will come in. It was like that. That's how Egypt was like ran. So you have so many different nationalities that ran it. The Greeks ran it for a season, for a long season under Antiochus. That's why all the Ptolemies were underneath Greece, underneath the Greeks. So when you study the Ptolemies, those dynasties, the majority of the Ptolemy dynasties were under Greek and Roman. I mean, not Roman. Excuse me, Greek leadership under Antiochus. Right. So now but you have to understand that was the center of the world. That was like America today. Egypt was like America. Everybody came there to learn, to grow. All of them, all the Greek and Roman philosophers, they'll all give credit back to Egypt because that was where the schools were at, like the greatest schools on the planet, like Harvard and Yale and all. That was in Egypt in that season. So yes. the highest level of wisdom and understanding was there in that season. For many seasons, there were many times that Egypt was the learning center of the world. As a matter of fact, our whole library was in from Israel. A lot of it was stored in Egypt. So yeah, they were a massive learning center. I believe the library was called Philadelphia's, if I'm not mistaken, or it was in Philadelphia's. I don't know if it was called Philadelphia's, but it was in Philadelphia's. What was the name of that library? I used to know the name of that library and everything. Yep. Any other questions or comments before we close out? It was a long class, and we got kicked off too. So like probably about 15 minutes of this class or 20 minutes of this class is cut off. It might be another one, it might be two of them. I can't tell until I get done with this. But we got cut off. But it was all part of it, because when you teaching truth, that's what it shows up just like that. And that's a beautiful thing. It's a great blessing. Just keep moving. That's all we do. Any questions on anything before we close out? We'll give y'all a couple seconds because y'all said it takes. Why our community is so down on being skinny? Because we were brainwashed. Again, I told you everything we've been taught. We've been taught to be insane. So remember when we were coming up, right? What was the statement? That we looked at people that were not, we looked at people that were thick or whatever as being healthy. They called it healthy. They didn't call it fat. Out of respect, we called it healthy. She's healthy. He's healthy. We didn't say fat. So we wrote to our subconscious minds that being overweight was healthy. Now, once you do that, then if you see somebody in their proper weight, you would consider them what? Unhealthy. But if you go to Africa and you can go through all the countries, you're going to see those people are not, most of them are not overweight. You will have those that are overweight. Don't get me wrong. But if you see the ones that are healthy running around doing what they're supposed to do, they are in good shape. They're in good shape. They're in excellent shape. Any other comments or questions? Thank you, amazing class. Thank you so much. Please put that in the comments on here and on the Patreon if you want, but that helps, right? And anybody, if you have any questions or anything and you're not on the live, you can always put the questions in the comments just to let people know. Any other questions before we close? And give y'all a second. It's already 9 o'clock. Beautiful. Thank you. All right. I appreciate everybody's time. You all have an outstanding evening. I will see you all at the top of your health journey. Peace.
For the rest of this video and more videos like these, you can join us at patreon.com/health class. Again, that's patreon.com/health class. And join one of our paid tiers. Any of them will do. And you join one of those tiers, you can watch the rest of these videos, as well as all the other videos that I produced, including my former health classes, which is 4 to 8 hours of information that can help you on your health journey to the top. All right. So I look forward to sharing that adventure with you. I look forward to seeing you at the top of your health journey.